If you're new in academics, if you're new in the classroom and you're wondering what should you do to retrieve interest of your children, interest of your students in academics, or what should you do to enhance or augment their understanding, their confidence, their interest in your department, or how you can modify, change, or shift their outlook, their mindset, their perception toward learning and teaching, or how you can improve their scores and grades, or how you can help them improve their learning skills or learning caliber, or what should you do to make sure that your students walk in your classroom with learning approach, with great attitude, with positive intentions, or how should you help them improve their mindset toward your classroom, or how should you draw your lesson plans, what should be your first step, or what should be your lesson plan like, or what should be your roadmap like, or what should be your first step, how should you introduce yourself in the classroom. If you are having so many questions in your mind, or so many questions are popping in your mind, and you are wondering what to do, what not to do, or how to represent yourself, or how to gain your students' trust, or how to make sure that your students are ready to acknowledge you, or they're ready to sit in your classroom readily, or if you are wondering how to provide them one of the best learning experiences, I would say, first of all, instead of thinking of teaching them, yes, you got me right, don't even think of teaching them on day one or week one or for week two. Rather, build rapport with them, build connection with them, or make sure that you become their first point of contact, you become their reliable source, you become one of the great learning channels for them. At the same time, induct them properly. It's really important that they are given proper induction, they are given proper understanding with your department, with your school or college, or with you, or give them opportunity to introspect themselves too. So ensure that you are spending enough of time in learning about them. At the same time, you are getting, or you are giving enough of time for giving them enough of time to learn about you, so that you both know who you are and what you want to be, or what are your expectations from one another. Become an integral part of the team, or become an integral part of the classroom. It's really very important that your students entirely trust you. So first of all, win their trust and delve into their old records, delve into their old feedback or old commendations and recommendations, not to scare them, not to petrify them, not to act like a bugbear for them, but to improve them, or but to ensure that you know what kind of students you have go in the classroom and what kind of assistance they require, how you can facilitate them, how you can mentor them, or what you need to do in order to make them better than before, or what you need to do to make them better, or what you need to do to improve their scores or improve their performance. So you are there to help them emulate, help them thrive, help them reform and change and shift, and you are there to assist them. Ensure that you are not creating any kind of mindset in their mind, or you are not petrifying them, or you're not acting like a critic, and you are not acting like somebody who sounds like as if you're there to demean them, you're there to taunt them, you're there to criticize them. Don't criticize them ever. Act like a healer, act like a solution finder, act like somebody who is always there to help them emulate, to help them grow, to help them reason, or to help them enhance or develop or build. So make sure that you're shaping lives out there, you are shaping futures out there, or you're building futures out there, because you're anyway not selling popcorns out there. You're selling education, you're selling purposes and agendas, or you're selling dreams and motives, and you are selling intentions. So ensure that you are selling something beautiful in a very nicest, or in a very religious manner, or in a very authentic way. So be authentic, be real, and be very passionate. It's really important that you are carrying passion, you're carrying jest, you are carrying energy, you are carrying enthusiasm, so that you can transfer it in your students' minds, and your students feel quite beautiful about your classroom, or your students feel quite interesting and quite important about your classroom. It's really important that your students feel very important about your classroom. Most of the time, children, they feel that they are sitting somewhere where there is nothing else than just hearing lectures and shoutings, or some kind of critic remarks or snarky remarks, or they are sitting somewhere where they will be criticized, where they will be humiliated, where they will be punished, or where they will be underestimated. Ensure that you are complimenting more your students and providing your students feedback, however, keeping commendations and recommendations in mind. You're not acting like a harsh critic, or you're not acting like a harsh person. Be polite with them always, no matter what circumstances you're in. And and also care to know who they are, care to know why they are sitting in your classroom, or what brought them in your classroom, why they have chosen to study your department, what is their understanding with your department, why they haven't got any goal, or why they have got certain goals, and what is the reason behind their goals. And ask them to share their story, share their purpose, share their agenda, share their experiences so far with academics, or with school, or with life. Ask them to share their understanding with themselves, or ask them to swap tables and chairs with one another, and ask them to share commendations and recommendations for one another, or feedback for one another, so that they learn to interact with you, or they learn to open up with you, they learn to express their ideas, their mindsets with you, and they learn to communicate in general. They should learn how to create a great way, or how to not just create, rather how to express their thoughts and ideas in a nicer way, or how to communicate their standards. Most of us don't know how to communicate things with standards, so teach them how to communicate things with standards. And you should be their facilitator, you should be their channel, you should be their guardian, you should be their example or paragon or epitome. So ensure that you are one of great prodigies out there. You're not somebody who is teaching them something absurd or something bitter or something sour by getting critic or by getting harsh on them. Rather, you are teaching how to be polite, how to be rational and diplomatic, how to represent yourself in a very diplomatic and intellectual manner. So teach them mannerism, or teach them values and principles, and also ask them to share their expectations from the classroom, and what are their current or future goals, and if not, then why not? Because everybody in this world should have goals. We should tie with small goals or bigger goals. However, we all should have goals. Spending 15 to 20 years on earth and not having goals sounds like that we are not ruminating, sounds like that we are not growing, sounds like that we are not enhancing our brains, or we are not learning anything, or we are aimless, or sounds like that our parenting or our education system both are failing to raise a kid, or raise children, or raise students, or raise a youth, or raise a future of any nation. So ensure that you are teaching or educating your children how to develop goals, or how to have goals, or what should be their goals. Counsel them. It's really important. Work like a counselor, work like a philosopher, work like an educator, work like a parent or guardian. Switch your relationship with your students according to their intellectual needs, according to their emotional needs. And also introduce yourself, introduce who you are and what you do and why you do what you do, what brought you in the department, which area you're expert or specialized in, which area you would like to explore, and share your goals, and share how did you apply your own way, share how did you succeed, or how did you manage to be a teacher or academician or professor, whatever designation you're at, and share your intentions toward education. Remember, you're a new face out there, and therefore they're curious about you. So share about yourself as a person, as an individual, and as a professional, being an academician, and inspire them through your stories. Share your journey, share your stories, share your experiences. Even if you can, then possibly prepare a PPT, prepare a video or a clip or images or collage upon your journey. Honestly, it really gives them an idea who you are and what you do and why you do what you do. Share your pictures and share your images and clips with them. Share what did you study. It's really important that your students get to know you personally and they get to interact with you so that they can build a connection with you and they can trust you more than before and open up with them. It's really important that you share a bond with them because they're going to spend a year with you, and in their entire year they would need you more. So make sure that you are there for them as a teacher, as a facilitator, as an educator, as a guardian, as a parent, and as a sibling, as a person who can be trusted or who can be there for them and keep their records confidential. Yes, being a teacher or being a counselor or being a person who is learning enough about them, learn to keep their information quite confidential, and also introduce them career options. It's really important that you are introducing them career options which are available in your department or through your department, how many career options they can avail, or teach them how many career options can be offered through your department, because most of the time children, I have heard just 2 or 3 career options they are familiar with, or they only know 2, 3 career options related to your department, and they think they can only pursue those career options and therefore they show less interest in your department. However, if you're going to just tell them how many career options are available in your department or educate them about those career options, probably they will seek more interest, or if not more interest, then at least interest, so that they can see your department as a side hustle, or they can consider your department as a side hustle, or maybe they can really build a career out of your department one day, because you never know what they're going to discover or what they're going to explore tomorrow. At the same time, it's not just about career. They should have a knowledge about your department, that how many career options are available in your department or for your department, and also educate them about history of your department and educate them how your department took place or how your department came into existence, or who led your department, why your department should be taught. Teach them the importance of your department through videos, clips, or images, or through stories if possible, whichever way you can. However, ensure that you highlight the importance of your department or importance the history of your department, so that your students seek more interest in your department. Now you must be knowing that what you need to do on day 1 or on week 1 or week 2 with your students. Instead of teaching them, I would always recommend you that just concentrate upon 2, 3 things: inducting them properly and highlighting career options of your department, and teaching them history of your department. Honestly, it'll consume about a week and 2 of you, or knowing your students personally, each one of them, so that you can contribute your attention toward each one of them properly, because you're not there to teach only best students, you're not there to teach only bad students, or you're not there to teach only average students. You are there to teach all 3 categories, or you are there to mentor and facilitate all 3 categories. However, you should know how many of them require you to teach, how many of them require you to facilitate, how many of them require you to mentor, or how many of them require you to educate and train, because every child would be different and their needs would be different according to their different reasons, and reasons could be anything personal or professional. However, I would not go in detail what all reasons it could be. However, there are various reasons when a child does not perform or does perform, or performs, however, averagely. So it's all upon you how you can help your student to perform better or improve in a such a way that they find quite happier about themselves. At the same time, it's not about scores and grades, honestly. It's all about learning and improving, or knowing the importance of the classroom, knowing the importance of education, or knowing enough, because there are so many students out there who have got strong and great memory, they perform on the spot, and there are many students out there who have got great understanding with department, however they don't have great memory, and therefore they don't perform in the classroom, or they don't perform in the exams, or they can perform in the exams, however for XYZ reason they could not. So there are many reasons that children do perform and do not perform. However, their performance should not recommend you to discriminate them, or do anything to do which can harm them or harm their future. Rather, you should not carry any perception. You should rather carry a judgment, or that judgment should be entirely based upon their records, and you should learn to assess them. You should learn to review them. You should learn to prepare feedback for them, or you should learn to prepare commendations and recommendations in such a way that they would not harm a kid's career or a kid's future. Rather, they would benefit them. They would benefit in terms of they would learn to improve, they would learn to thrive and rise. So be a support system as a teacher, as a professor, as a lecturer, as an educator, mentor, and facilitator, because that's what we are hired for. That's what our job is. That's what we are chosen for. Let's say ciao for now. Enjoy yourself. I hope this video will help you understand what you got to do in order to improve their learning experience with you on day one, or week one, or week two, or throughout the year. How you can change their perception toward academics, or how you can augment or enhance or develop their understanding with your department, or what you should do in order to improve their scores, or what should you do to draw lesson plans, or how should you draw your lesson plans accordingly. So share your understanding with your students. At the same time, I would say share your wisdom, or share your theories and principles and noble approach with your students, so that your students copy it and they also become just like you, so become their role model. End of the day, it's really important that being a teacher, you're quite highly intellectual, and not just highly intellectual or highly intelligent or highly qualified. Rather, you are quite high on your principles, high on your values, or you are quite noble as individual too, because there is no room for a corrupt person in education, because you're not there to corrupt the system, you're not there to corrupt students, you're not there to corrupt anyone, you're there to improve. So if you feel that you are a corrupt person, I would recommend you move out.